This episode of Make Live is brought to you by DigiKey.
So we have another hackerspace to visit.
One more hackerspace. Yep. It's Noisebridge in San Francisco, traveling the longest leg of our road trip. Oh, I'm tired of sitting in the car already. Whoa. I think we have the internet to save us from those long car trips. So Noisebridge is in San Francisco. They're our biggest and oldest hackerspace on the list. And talking to us tonight from our hackerspace is Mitch Altman. Hi, Mitch.
Hey, Mitch.
Howdy. So let's see, are we on there? There we are. So I'm from San Francisco, one of the co-founders of Noisebridge, one of the older of these new wave of hackerspaces that we've been seeing on this show. There are now 900 hackerspaces or so listed on hackerspaces.org. That's where you can find hackerspaces anywhere you choose. So if you ever travel and want to meet new friends or find out what to do, look on hackerspaces.org and you'll find new friends there. So, but here we are at Noisebridge. We've got a bunch of projects to show you. Should I just look around Noisebridge first?
Yeah, sure. Show us around.
Okay, yeah. So let me grab this. Let's see. Actually, I'll grab that. So say hi, everyone.
Wow. Hello, everyone.
So also today we have a class on how to use your 3D printer MakerBot, which is happening in the background over here. And that's what these friendly people are all gawking at and playing with. So, but over here is our crafting area. And there's Rachel knitting, crocheting? Knitting. And what's that? Ah. There we go. I should look at the preview. And, and then over here is our electronics lab. And that's where every Monday we have Circuit Hacking Monday, our most popular weekly thing. Every Wednesday, by the way, we have Sewing, Crafting, or Whatever, SCOW. And if we look back here, here's our library. And you can't see it from here, but back there is our darkroom. We have a very active film group. Over here is our Dr. J, behind Dr. J, and Milo pointing the way is our machine shop. And if we go that way, we see, sort of see some classrooms, and behind that is our laser cutter, complete next to our shrine, which came with the place. The people who did sewing here before left him behind to oversee the place. And back there, you can sort of maybe make out our full kitchen where we make wonderful food and lots of food hacking. And I forgot to mention over here behind Rachel, knitting is our scanning Electron microscope, which really works.
Wow.
If you want to see what your hair looks like, that's one way to do it. Wow. So that's sort of a quick tour of Noisebridge. Oh yeah, and then our member shelves where you can put stuff and no one will muck with it. Yeah, let me just quickly show you some of the projects I have. I teach people how to solder. Every Monday here at Noisebridge, I teach people to solder. And when I'm not here, I'm going around the world at maker fairs and hacker spaces and hacker conferences, teaching lots of people to solder. I've taught about 28,000 people to solder with the help of a few people. And at the maker fair, we made a bunch of these. Let me go in here. Can you see it blinking?
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, 3,100 people learned to solder with these over 2 days with the help of 40 volunteers. Wow. It was quite, it was a fun time. So, yeah, and at Detroit, I won't be able to be there, I'm afraid, but other people will be doing it. But at workshops, I have a bunch of projects that I created simply and specifically for teaching people who know nothing how to do cool things with electronics and how to solder. So I started by taking this kit by Lady Ada, and it looks like a column of blinking LEDs because that's what it is. Hey Meredith, you want to wave that back and forth? Let's see.
I don't think that'll work with the camera.
Does that work?
It's hard for the camera. POV is a persistence of vision is a trick with your brain. It's hard to capture it.
They'll just have to believe us. It makes a heart. Oh. So, but I've hacked that into my strangest project, which is these. It's here's the mini POV kit made by Lady Ada, glued to the side, and I put some LEDs in the front, and now it blinks at brainwave frequencies with the headphones It makes sound brainwave frequencies, and when you wear them, you hallucinate beautiful colors and patterns as you drift off into a wonderful meditative state. So I wrote that up for Make Magazine number 10. But I also hacked this thing with red and green and blue light. And let's see, is that it? And you mix the colors together and you get pretty colors, but that turned into trippy RGB waves here. So if I wave my hand over this, you get waves of colors. You're supposed to go ooh now.
Ooh. Can you do it one more time?
So, and also make games. This one's Tetris, and it plays Tetris. These are all kits that people can build. This one's a low-res Pac-Man. You move the little red dot around. This one is Space Invaders. Space Invaders. And TV Be Gone kit to turn off TVs in public places. Becky is now infamous for someone at Forbes disliking her greatly for putting this in her hoodie.
Yeah, my TV Be Gone jacket didn't go over so well with the guy at Forbes. But
that's cool. It's just a TV. If it turns off, they can turn it back on, but it's better when it's off.
Yeah.
I put one in a hat.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Mitch. You inspired me to make that because I love your TV Be Gone hat, but I don't look so great in the baseball caps. So
you look way better in your hoodie.
Thanks.
Yeah, TV Be Gone, that's my thing. This is my project. I do it just because I love it, and it makes me enough money to make a living. So keep that in mind. You can make a living with projects that you love. So anyways, that's my stuff, and I went way too long. So I'm going to show you, oh yeah, and the LED cube that I made is one that I found at Chaos Computer Club Congress, and it's a 3D cube, low-res display. Most people build bigger ones, but I'm very lazy, so I make this 3x3x3 LED cube, and I just think it's cute. But John, I believe I taught you to solder. Is that right?
Whoa.
Yeah, and then he learned to solder here at Noisebridge at Circuit Hacking Monday, and for the last 3 months he's been making a huge, incredibly cool LED cube. So take it away, John.
Hi, so I'm John, and I made this cube right here. Yeah. And so the way it works is based on the Instructables cube, except I run it through Arduino, and instead of using latches like that described, I use shift registers. And the way it works is that there are 8 shift registers daisy chained together through serial inputs and outputs, and there's 64 columns. And there's another shift register that acts as a demultiplexer, and it selects a layer and then just kind of shifts the information through. So that creates a way for the cube to be able to create layers using like a persistence of vision thing. And the layers just animate so fast that you think that they're all on, but they're not. It's, an optical illusion. Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. I learned how to make, this kind of thing by coming to a place like this. So thumbs up for Hackerspaces, and get involved,
Yeah, now you have a huge software project to make cool animations.
I'm actually working on
Am I hearing the MakerBot in the background make the Tetris theme? What am I hearing singing the Tetris theme?
Oh dear, let me turn off Tetris theme because otherwise we all need lobotomies to get rid of it.
It's a lovely song. I like it a lot.
That was the game. Okay, so let's see. Next up, we're going to go to Ricky, who makes BioBoard with the help of a bunch of other Noisebridge people. And what, you're using it now to make kombucha?
Yeah. So we were part of the Hackerspace Challenge too, and we made this BioBoard, which is this tangle of wires over here. What we built is essentially a set of different sensors that hook up to an Arduino and can be used to monitor kombucha, for instance, or other microbial cultures. And we have the latest edition. We now have data output and a little LCD. And next step is going to be dataless, wireless data transmission to a database and real-time graphing for this stuff. But that only runs in my computer now. That's supposed to be running on the internet. Yeah.
And it will.
It will. But the coolest part of this is the fact that we copied a couple of industry sensors. This is a near-infrared sensor that's used to monitor biomass. and the industry standard probe that we copied costs about $250. This one is cost just under $5. Don't autoclave it. It's not food safe. Don't autoclave it, but otherwise it's great. So there you have it.
Cool, thank you.
So why don't you say what kombucha is?
Oh, kombucha's fermented tea. It's this awesome, healthy probiotic drink. It's a combination of yeast and bacteria that spin this thick bacterial hemicellulose that you can also make clothes from, and soft circuitry, and bandages, and paper, and a whole bunch of other useful things. Super, super awesome organism.
It's really cool, even though it's ugly.
It's really gross. It tastes insanely good.
It does. So next up is Max, who make this really cool noisemaker, and but you got a couple other projects to show too, right?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Max. I'm Noisebridge's youngest member, and I've done multiple projects at Noisebridge. This is the latest one. I made this sword with my cousin, who was over here a while ago. Then I have one project I made with a friend at Noisebridge called the Illuma Eggy. It's a night light, but since it's daytime, it does not really show. And finally, I made this weird sound generator. It's an analog synthesizer, and some people at Noisebridge helped me learn how to mount it, taught me how to mount it on a mooncake box. It's a kit, and it's pretty awesome because it makes some awesome sounds.
Loving it.
Totally cool. Thanks, Max.
Thanks, Max.
So let's see. Rachel is up next, and let me get you in there. Okay. So what are you going to show, Rachel?
Alright, so I started coming to Noisebridge to learn how to use electronics in my art projects. I have this project to show. It's a suitcase. It has laser etched pictures on it and a capacitive sensor in it, so it lights up when you touch this.
And what are we seeing in here?
It's a laser etched picture that's very dark unless you make the lights go on by triggering the sensor. It's not that complicated. I'm making a lot of wearable interface devices. And if you want to find out more about them, you can go on Kickstarter and search Pants Interface. Really enjoying learning how to use microcontrollers in other projects, because they're pretty simple and straightforward once you get a bunch of people to explain everything to you.
Can you say what a wearable
the
interface?
Pants interface, that's for eventually hooking a keyboard up to your pants so you can have way cooler ways of dealing with computers than the way we have now, right?
Yeah, this device is a mouse touchpad. It's basically two variable resistors at opposing angles to each other, and they form an XY coordinate that it can tell where you're touching. And then this is an Arduino, and this is a radio, and then I hook the other radio up to my computer, and my computer shows me a cursor moving around in an area.
Cool.
Pants interface.
Thanks,
Cool.
Rachel. So let's have Meredith next. She's got a bunch of things with soft circuitry and supporting stuff.
Yeah, so I do a lot of soft circuitry. I did a Scarp a Day project also in January, which I made a Scarp a Day every day all month. This was one of them I made, soft circuit Scarp. I also make cute, fuzzy, felted resistors. And then I also make
show one with a face.
Oh, that does have a face.
Oh, it does. Yeah, look at that face.
That's the most adorable resistor I've ever seen.
I also make flexible circuit boards called star boards that are for people who do soft circuitry that can be ironed on and then sewn through. And I also have this solderable conductive thread.
And these are going to be available at SparkFun, right?
Yeah, these I'm partnering with SparkFun to make these, and they'll be available very soon.
It's really cool. It's a really neat thing, Meredith, the fact that you can sew through that flexible copper clad. What's that material all about?
It's called copper clad Kapton. It's basically
very similar to a regular printed circuit board, except that it's put on this high temperature resistant tape called Kapton. So you can solder right on it, even once it's ironed onto clothing, and the heat won't transfer through. And it works really well with this solderable thread. It makes it really easy to like put things together, even if you don't know anything about sewing or if you don't know anything about electronics.
Someone's asking if the resistor works, if it actually gives the right resistance.
What?
If that resistor, the soft circuit resistor, does that work?
No, actually, but so many people have been asking, I think I might try to make one.
Yeah, the folks at Twin Cities Maker, they made that 10X electronics components. I can't see why the resistor shouldn't be made out of felt.
It'd be more adorable.
Yes.
Adorable. So let's see. Jake now is going to show his Cosmophone. And can you turn your computer around so we can watch it work? So Lilia's computer is hooked up to Jake's radiation detector, which he calls Cosmophone.
It's a Cosmophone. It's that was invented by Jerry Chemkus. He's my teacher, and he has a website, cosmophone.com with a K. But basically, this detector is detecting photons in the gamma spectrum, radiation as we all know it, which is always coming up from the Earth and down from the stars. And unlike a Geiger counter, this detector reports the color of the photon or the frequency of the photon each time, so that the computer, in this case, can take that information and decide to play a musical note, which is what you're hearing. And as you can see, there's radiation coming in right now, even though the crystal that's detecting the radiation is only about the size of a shot of whiskey. So if you think of the size of your body as being much larger than that, you're actually getting hammered with radiation continuously, even just throughout your normal day without a reactor problem, constantly. Now watch what happens if you put some uranium. This is uranium. If we put this uranium in front of the crystal detector, listen to how the music changes, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now I've taken away the uranium, and it's going back to normal. Now I'm going to try some thorium nitrate. Listen to the sound change.
Wow.
The computer is getting backed up because it's a little bit too much information right now. One question that people ask a lot is, what happens if you put a cell phone next to it? And if you look at the handy electromagnetic spectrum chart from Exploratorium or any other chart, you'll see that the cellular spectrum is well below deep infrared, which is well below the visible light spectrum, which is below the X-ray, and gamma rays are above the X-ray. So it's a totally different thing, unless your cell phone is from Fukushima.
Cool. Thanks, Jake.
And this is technology that people need to really learn about, because in the 50s and 60s, crystal detectors, this is a sodium iodide crystal detector, they were a lot more common. And these days people have basically forgotten how to connect to them. So keep an eye out on cosmophone.com for schematics and designs, how you can build your own color radiation detector and learn about detecting radiation in your community, especially if you live near a nuclear plant.
Nice, thanks.
Which we all do. Okay, so Hef is up next, who has made this way cool LED staff.
Hi. So this is a 6-foot LED strip I got from Jameco. It's about $40. I packed it in a 36-inch polycarb tube I got from Tap Plastics for $30, and it has a little Arduino in here, a little used Snoopy, because it's the only one that I could find that would actually fit.
Where is it?
There it is. And it still has the USB
up.
header on it, so that you can reprogram it and change the modes if you want. It's got a few different pre-programmed modes, and basically this is the prototype. It cost me $100 to make. I really want to go back and make another one that's a lot better. I'm actually working with some of these guys back here to design a better power supply for it, and so we don't have to use 8 AA batteries. We can use 4 AA batteries that are rechargeable, so we don't have to throw them away every time. And it's just a lot of fun to play with.
So play with it.
I'm not sure how well this is actually going to show up in the light.
Oh yeah, you can see that a bit.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, it makes lots of cool colors. Yeah, too bad you can't see that all at home, but it's pretty trippy.
Cool, lots of trippy stuff there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're into trippiness at Noisebridge. So let's see. So the one last thing we saved the best for last is a robot which does not follow the 3 laws.
Oh, that's scary.
This pile of parts here is a robot. Its name is MC Hawking, and it, despite its very well-engineered appearance, is not nearly as safe as it looks. Let's get a shot of the Jake Troller here. So, using a little bit of circuitry, we managed to get this perfectly wonderful wheelchair, power chair, and turn it into a soulless killing machine. So it has a couple features. It's got this missile launcher up here, which it uses to distract you when it's trying to kill you, and then it uses this connect here to lock onto your face while it's aligning itself and accelerating to ramming speed. So, in addition to that, really it's just a distraction. You need to keep your eyes on the robot to make sure you can get out of the way before it tries to kill you.
Which it tried to do to you in your room the other day,
yes,
right?
Yes, in fact, it's tried to kill 3 people now so far. Most recently last night, and so we have a little counter, as well as some humans that it strikes. So you might be thinking to yourself, "This sounds an awful lot like my creepy stalker ex-boyfriend or girlfriend," but it actually only really loves one thing, which is delicious AC outlets. And so if you look down here, you can see this wonderful precision-engineered connector that we designed. That took a good 10-15 minutes. Which it uses to go plug itself into AC outlets so it can get more energy to go track more humans and then kill them by running them over at high speed.
So wait, let me. Sorry about that.
Don't frighten me.
Oh, it's in autonomous mode right now. Is that correct?
Actually, Lilia here is controlling it using this wireless keyboard, which we can use to run it manually. It does have an autonomous mode where it does, in fact, track humans using facial recognition, and then it tries to home in on them. Fortunately, we managed to go cut the power down a little bit so we can put it into a mode where it's face tracking people, but not able to accelerate to ramming speed. We try not to combine both high speed mode as well as you can take a look at the switcher on the side here, which has 3 settings: off, kill, and stun. And so it's very, very bad if you set the robot to kill mode at the same time that it's in face tracking mode because. Well, as you can see here on the screen, it is not compliant with ASMO's 3 laws of robotics.
Yeah, and there was a time when there was a brainwave interface as well, right?
That's right. At one point, someone did in fact take a brain sensor, and we have 2 members here, Rachel, who's knitting over there in the corner, and Rachel here, who was demonstrating the pants interface earlier, and one Rachel was driving the other Rachel around using the brain interface. So one Rachel was sitting on here, and the other one was using the power of her mind to take this robot and drive it around the space here and create a very hazardous moving violation.
So, but just for the record, this has not actually broken any laws to date. Is that right?
Well, not yet, but this weekend what we're going to do is we're going to take the robot down to the BART station because Sprint just donated us a 4G hotspot, a WiMAX hotspot, which we're attaching to the robot. And because we're kind of on a budget here at Noisebridge, what we decided was that the robot should have to go pay its own way. And so it's going to go down to the BART station, and it's going to try to earn money by busking using hilarious music and cutesy cardboard signs. And using that money, it's going to help to pay for its internet access so it can go contact its robot mommy back here at Noisebridge.
And hopefully he'll take no for an answer.
Well, we haven't got the software completely finished yet.
So, by the way, this is Dr. J with the robot, and Dr. J was helped with Lilia and Jake and many other people. Is that right?
Yes, a cast of thousands. There's been probably a couple dozen people who worked on this robot off and on. So it really is a collaborative effort.
Cool. Thanks for showing it to us.
Yeah. Really, no one should ever do this.
That sounds great. Hey, Mitch, we're going to try to get all the Hackerspaces on the group video call while we wrap up the show here. Thanks for showing us all those awesome projects.
You're welcome.
That was definitely a lot of trippy projects.
He's out in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.